Oh, wait a minute. Now,
Julie Curtis, Precinct 5, Town Meeting.
we're at the February 5th
Fifth
town
special
meeting,
town meeting.
and it's supposed to be for zoning,
Yes.
and it is expanded into trash tax collections. What do you think of that?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I really have to do some thinking.
So you haven't decided yet?
No.
Wow, that's interesting, because a lot of people have made the statement that they're totally against it or they're in favor of it. And just wondering, why is it being implemented now? Because we've talked about this thing for 25 years, and now it came into fruition. What do you think? Is it Wayne Marquis? Because he introduced it one time.
Oh, okay.
And well, thank you, and have a good vote.
Thank you.
All right.
Fawn Anderson. Matthew Aquaro.
Here.
Jean Argento. Michael P. Armstrong.
Here.
William J. Bill Bates, Jr.
Here.
Janet L. Bennett. Louis J. Bernazzani. And J. Cheatham. Lawrence P. Chisholm. Jennifer L. Churchill. Amy E. Ciancarelli. Kathleen L. Simon. James P. Simon. William H. Clark, Jr.
Here.
Peter E. Clement.
Present.
Annette Y. Collins. Claire T. Conway. Marissa Ann Costello. Joseph D. Cucinotta. Robert F. Cummings, Jr.
Present.
Julie E. Curtis. Susan E. Dagley. Glenn M. Dagley.
Here.
Andrea J. Daly. Douglas P. Daly. Charles C. Dame, Jr.
Here.
Sarah J. D'Antonio. Krista.
Hey, John.
Laurent R. Perrault.
Here.
David R. Peroni.
Present.
Michael W. Powers.
Present.
William M. Prentice.
Here.
John P. Humphrey, Jr.
Here.
Corey K. Ryan. W. Coley Rybicki. Nova D. Samadai. Deborah.
I'd like to now take a moment to appoint tellers. Precinct 1, Nelson Moran. Precinct 2, Donna Martin. Precinct 3, Sandy Lane. Precinct 4, Pete Swindell. Precinct 5, John Duffel III. Precinct 6, Michael Powers. Precinct 7, Bill Clark. And Precinct 8, do we have Mr. John Alden Sr., was he present? Or do we need to find somebody for Precinct 8? He's not here. How about Carla King? Would you take the role of teller for this evening? Thank you. Tellers should be certain to count their own votes, and the teller from Precinct 1 should be sure to count the votes of the members of the Select Board. For the benefit of new members, as well as others, the Chair will review some matters of information and
the minimum density in our downtown, and only in our downtown, to ensure that we are in compliance with a new state law. As noted on the flyer, and as I think Jim just mentioned, this new law applies to 177 communities. 176 of those, including Danvers, have had their action plans for compliance already approved by the state. One community intends to go to court, and I hope it won't be us. The minimums in this article were carefully calculated and recalculated to ensure compliance. Efforts to amend or change this article would likely put Danvers into non-compliance with new state law, which is going to cost us money. Failure to approve this article won't change the downtown zoning at all. It won't roll it back to 2017 and 2020. We will simply cut off the vital state funding to the town because we decided not to comply with the final 2% of the MBTA Communities Act. I urge you to join me in supporting this very important article. Thank you.
Mr. Morose.
Hello, Jim Rose, town meeting member, precinct 3. I've had a lot of feedback on this, and from the residents that I've talked to, and quite frankly, Danvers has done 95% of this work, and we're going to do the 5%, and we're going to get all this great money from the state. But again, the residents and I are just highly concerned about this trickle-down mandates. When does it stop? We have, like one-size-fits-all traffic patterns. Y'all love your Route 128 and 35 and Route 128, 62. That's one-size-fits-all. The same thing with this zoning, MBTA zoning. They all got to fit this box. Okay, we're going to fit in the box. We're going to get money, but at what expense? I mean, because we've already done 95%. I mean, we can see what's at the corner of Hobart and Maple Street. And a lot of people are not really thrilled about that, but that ain't going to change whether we pass this or not, as so noted. I would just vote against it in principle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morose. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the Finance Committee, zoning district to comply with the MBTA's Community Act and its implementing regulations, or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend that town meeting vote to amend the zoning bylaw to adjust the minimum densities, parking ratios, and related provisions in the character-based zoning district to comply with the MBTA Communities Act and its implementing regulations.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to recognize the chairman of the planning board, Mr. Sears.
Good evening, and thank you for your attendance tonight at another special town meeting. As you know, thank you, Mr. Bress. He's our biggest fan. So again, thank you all for coming this evening. We're here on this MBTA Communities Act. As you know, in the past, in 2017, we passed zoning regulation for the downtown, and again in 2020, we passed additional regulation dealing with the zoning of the downtown of Danvers, which results in what we have today, the ability to, we have zoning for the ability to build downtown to meet the guidelines pretty much set in the new communities law by the MBTA. Our particular committee was charged with tweaking just a few of the items in that zoning bylaw, which is a large law. If you've been through it, you've read it, There's a lot to it, but we had 6 public meetings between the planning board and the FinCom and Select Board. And as I said, we had a lot of input. Mr. Bates was there, and Mr. Bradstreet and so on. And I know there was a lot of public input, people at home and watching and so on. So this particular bylaw is putting us in conformance with state law. 176 out of 177 communities have already put this forward, or in the process of putting this forward. This enables us to get state aid for things like the rail trail, recreation, Endicott Park, and so on. So if we did not comply with it, we would lose that state aid. But we've already put the shell and the main framework of this article already in effect back in 17 and 20. This particular act is tweaking that after discussion with staff and so on. Brian Kelly is here to help if there's any further discussion from the planning staff.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Mr. Mills? Jim, I didn't recognize you. I recognized Dave Mills.
Oh.
You don't have to walk all the way back. Just hand her over that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fellow town meeting members, I rise to support this article and hope that you will do the same. I also join Bill Clark's compliments to the planning board for the hours and hours and hours and hours that have been put into this particular article in the work of the planning board throughout the year. It's amazing. As noted by Jim Sears, this article has been thoroughly vetted by the planning board and enjoys their strong support. I am aware of some emails that have been circulating suggesting that it should be opposed because it will ruin our town. I'm one of the few people in the room that remembers the lunch counter in Woolworths, which is now CVS, and I really love Danvers Square, and I don't want to see it ruined, and this article is not going to ruin it. On the back of the summary sheets that were given out at the entry to the hall tonight is a map of our downtown, which was rezoned, I believe Jim has just commented, in 2017 and 2020, after years of public input, careful planning, and dozens of meetings with residents, businesses, and town meeting members. Those efforts in 2017 and 2020 enjoyed almost unanimous support by this town meeting. The article before us tonight will not result in taller buildings, bigger buildings, or more housing units in our downtown than has been envisioned in 2017 and 2020. The article before us simply adjusts.
Ann Wheelock, Rigucci, Town Meeting, Precinct 2. I agree with Mr. Morose's comments, and I think the 2017 and the 2020 passing of the new zoning laws, I was not part of Town Meeting then. One of the reasons why I ran for Town Meeting is I'm not sure how you're going to incent more business to come when no one can park at their businesses. I had a drive through Beverly. It's a comparable town to us. We have highway access, as does Beverly. They changed their zoning laws, Rantoul Street, Cabot Street, more so Rantoul Street near their MBTA station. They have direct access to MBTA. And a lot of mixed-use apartments up above, retail below. Retail is empty in a lot of those buildings. Beverly's taxes went up over $500 for this fiscal year. We're looking at the same with the new trash fee, which is a different subject. So where is the money? And then the other, I think, caveat that sort of people have been saying, well, this is much needed revenue for the town. But no one can put a number, because until those developments are built, gone through the zoning, gone through the planning boards, probably more easements than should be given are sometimes given. So what you see here on your page can change. If they put retail, they can jam in more units to make more money for them, not for the town. More traffic, more burden on our public safety. Where's that money going to come from? Is it going to come from the new taxes that these buildings are bringing in? Then it's a wash, or we're in a negative. We don't know. So there's a lot of unanswered questions that are sort of being just, oh, we did 95% of the work, this is great, just push it over the line. No. I think the town should be in more control of what is built and what is developed. I'm for development in the town. I'm for improving Danvers. But I'm not for the state to shove it down our throats, to legitimize the MBTA, a very losing prospect right now. So I just hope that everyone kind of looks at those points and maybe reconsider your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? There will be order, please. Mr. George.
Hi, good evening. Louis George, Town Meeting Member Precinct 1. I'm also a member of the Planning Board. And I did want to speak my support for this initiative, for this article. I'd like to associate myself with the comments that David Mills had said, as well as our Planning Board Chair, Jim Sears. The efforts really that took place in 2017, 2020, and now really can help ensure the continued and future vitality of downtown Danvers. And also provides for residential and mixed uses, including affordable housing as well. So the one point I did want to make just respectfully in terms of a comment that the concerns, concerns of public were not taken to heart by the Planning Board, is that we did have multiple hearings, as the chairman just said. We had multiple hearings with respect to this article, took public comment. We did not shut down public discussion at all. And moreover, as it relates to the downtown rezoning, went through multiple hearings, multiple discussions in 2017, 2020, and again today. So I just urge you to support the article that's before you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the Finance Committee recommendation, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The motion carries. Article 9, housekeeping. To see if the town meeting will vote to amend the zoning bylaw to improve internal consistency in language, provide clarity where vague, conform to state or case law, and move all signage standards to one place or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend the town meeting vote to amend the zoning bylaw to improve internal consistency in language, provide clarity where vague, conform to state or case law, and move all signage standards to one place.
Thank you. Mr. Chair of the Planning Board, Mr. Sears.
Thank you. As you know, every few years we have a special town meeting dealing with zoning, and often we have this type of legislation as we do in front of us tonight for housekeeping issues. This year we had the benefit of Attorney Mark Bobrowski, who is a noted expert on zoning, to assist us through a grant to kind of go through our zoning article and tweak it and make it more informative with state law and state practice and case law, and also to make it easier for the zoning administrator and the building inspector to use the zoning article. So every year, every couple of years or so, you'll remember, those of you who've been town meeting members, that do this. And this article merely reorganizes stuff. I know it's a lot of pages and it appears to be a lot of data, but it really comes down to a lot of housekeeping issues. So I would seek your support on this article. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? This requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Before moving to the last item in the warrant, I would like to recognize town meeting member Bill Clark for a point of information. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This evening, we have a member of our board, our town meeting body, that's serving his last meeting. He was first elected in 1972 along with Wayne Markey and Teddy Spiliotis as a town meeting member. And he's been a very loyal person in this town, for the town meeting process, and I hope we recognize Mr. Nelson Warren of Precinct 1.
Nellie, thank you so much for your service, and those who have been with us at the town meeting floor know that he is our standard bearer in Precinct 1 as a teller. So congratulations. Moving to the last warrant article, Article 10, Citizen Petition, to see if the town will vote to adopt the following bylaw. No fee shall be established for curbside rubbish removal or recycling without the establishment of a bylaw establishing such fee and the enforcement of such fee. This provision shall not apply to yard waste, heavy items, white goods, or household hazardous waste, or take any other action thereon. Mr. Chairman.
We recommend no action.
Thank you. Before moving to a discussion of this article, I'd like to recognize our town council, David DeLuca. Dave?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the meeting. Good to be here again. We have spent some considerable time reviewing the citizen petition as we do all articles before the meeting. Citizen petitions, though, do take some special care. I have provided some comment to the various town committees reviewing this article. I believe it's available, that opinion available for you tonight. I'll summarize. With the assistance of colleagues in the office, Jane Donnelly, who's here with me tonight, we reviewed the citizen petition and determined that no matter how well intended, there appears to be two major flaws with the proposed bylaw. First, the proposed bylaw as presented is a contingent bylaw, meaning that it requests establishment of a second bylaw in order to be effective. In other words, this bylaw, if enacted, is inoperative unless and until a second bylaw is presented and passed, which may or may not occur sometime in the future. And even if it does, it may not be consistent with the law as it's presented, or the bylaw as it's presented tonight. This procedural flaw in and of itself is likely fatal. Second, and equally important, the proposed bylaw is substantially flawed insofar as it delegates to the legislative body, this meeting, a function that by statute is exclusively reserved for the Board of Selectmen. In this case, there is unequivocal statute, Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 28C, Paragraph F, which reserves to the Chief Executive Officer of the town to set trash fees. I could repeat the language of the statute, but it's very clear and it's in the memo. In Danvers, this statutory definition of Chief Executive Officer is in fact the Board of Selectmen. Unlike the common belief that it is in fact our town manager, In this case, chief executive officer is defined in the statute as the Board of Selectmen. The town manager, while he has extensive responsibilities and duties, the setting of fees is not one of them. So it is reserved for the Board of Selectmen. And by decisional law, from the municipal law unit at the AG's office, we found several analogous cases where town meetings sought to step into the shoes of an executive authority, whether in the context of collective bargaining or eminent domain taking. Those bylaws have been rejected by the AG's office. Therefore, in the present case, unfortunately, this bylaw instrument, as it's proposed here, is not suited to accomplish the desired results of the petitioners. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the citizen petitioners, I'd like to recognize Mr. Michael Bean. Mr. Bean.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. My name is Michael Bean, Glenwood Street, lifelong resident, and I submit to you the 365 resident signatures to meet the criteria of this special town meeting. The $200 trash fee is of great concern and apprehension for many. The folks that signed the petition either didn't realize the fee was coming to them. Some asked when they'd be voting on it, and others were unhappy how it had happened. The obvious is the residents do not want another cost put on them. The jump in taxes, the cost of electricity going up, and other costs that they have no control over are causing high anxiety. This fee, tax, it's imposed on us without our consent. We have been fighting this exact situation for generations. Our town fathers already thought this through by giving us a representative town government. But instead the town meeting was skipped over, and yes, state law says it's okay that this can happen. But are we willing to accept that? We don't have to. When adding over $1 million to the town residents' cost, shouldn't we go the long route? The pushback by town representatives is disturbing. No one is asking for a favor here, for something out of the ordinary. We're just asking that the process be respected and followed through so that the residents have a voice. Our town seal says it. If not, more fees will be coming down the road for us, not approved by our town meeting members. We want representation when our money is, as a collective group, is to be spent. The proof is in the hundreds of residents that signed on, and many others have still called to ask where they can sign. Some will tell you that the town employees will be let go and laid off, but this is not true. The costs are the costs are the costs. And after town meeting tells us so, we will agree. We trust you'll investigate and advise us. Some will tell you that the wording is illegal. The wording is from another town in the area. The same exact situation.
We knew we were losing our contract. We knew that the the people we had trash contracts with were sold. We knew after 10 years of our last contract of 10 years of favorable trash and changes in the industry, where China no longer accepts our waste, some of our waste, and other issues, we're going to raise the next contract, and it did. It raised it by $1.13 million. So all we had anticipated we were going to have trash fees, and part of it is still in the tax levy, it's in your taxation. $1.13 million was a brand new bill to us. And we don't have that capacity in the budget. So often, I agree with town moderator. Citizen petitions are sacrosanct. They should come. They should be allowed. They should become. But we often ask them to check with town council ahead of time to avoid unintended consequences. And in this case, we know the consequences. We know that we've heard about the legality of the language. That's one issue. But we know if we were to try to put $1.13 million in our budget with our discretionary funds at no more than $2.6 million, it will affect services. And most likely, people. We don't like the reality of it, but that's the case. You all look at the budget every single year. You can pull out your last budget, you can pull out the next one, and you can see, is there $1.13 million in the budget that we could take from someplace else and not affect services and not affect people? People talk about why can't you run your budget like my home Your home budget doesn't put 80% of the budget to paying other people. We put 81% of our budget to paying costs for people here, and that's the service we get. So we're also facing another dilemma. We have a Horizon event. We have 7 unions that are in negotiation for employees who deserve to be well compensated for the work they do. We all enjoy the fact that we get the services we get. So everybody who's here, just like you and I, would expect to be compensated and to have raises. We also have the Essex Tech fee, which goes up every year without our control. That's going to put further pressure on the budget. We're not suggesting that the fee could go into taxation. However, the consequence of that action will reduce services and people in this town, working for this town. I encourage you to support the recommendation of the FinCom. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion?
Hello, everybody. Maureen Bernard, Select Board Member, Precinct 4 also. I just want to say that I do appreciate the time and effort of the citizens petition. Thank you very much. Seeing that they retained over 300 plus signatures, and I believe it was in a short period of time, it makes me wonder if they had a longer period of time, how many more signatures would they have with 27,000 people, 28,000 people in this town? I want to respect the process, but as mentioned previously, it should be up to the residents, not just one person to implement the fee. I can respect our town council, David DeLuca, and his staff, thank you very much. But David did mention too, it's only his opinion. So what I'm saying is, let's vote on this, hopefully it will pass, and then it goes to the Attorney General for their decision. So I urge you to support this article. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion, sir?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Mark Lentini, Precinct 6. Couple of questions. Gardner, you had mentioned in your email last night that we lose between 7 and 12 people due to layoffs with this trash fee or with this increase in trash costs. How many people, can anybody from the town or from the select board answer, how many people have left voluntarily or retired that the positions haven't been filled? Far greater than 7 to 14 people.
Do you want an answer to that question?
Inconsequential.
Okay.
Just food for thought. And has anybody from the town or the select board considered taking back the transfer station that we, as a town, own and put it for a profit? I think I mentioned that last year. Nothing was done. Covant is making millions of dollars right now with our transfer station. Take it back, generate income, eliminate the trash fee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, will the meeting be in order? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll now open, Mr. Bennett, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, fellow town meeting members. I'll answer Mark's question. The town manager was given a goal to look at taking back the transfer station, and we decided not to do so because of the added expense. The amount of people we would have to hire would not be profitable. Now, can that happen in the future? Anything can happen in the future, but we did look at that. But I do want to point out one small thing. The elected officials in this town, we have a budget goal and objectives that we vote on every year. And our mission statement is rather simple: to provide excellent services at the level desired by citizens, taxpayers, and ratepayers that ensure the health, safety, education, welfare, and quality of life in this community. And we, as the Select Board, take that very seriously whenever we take a vote that impacts the citizens, the taxpayers, the ratepayers. We take it very seriously, and we will review this document tomorrow night after this vote and vote on that again for our next year, fiscal year budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Mr. Mills?
Colleagues, the Select Board sweated for a year with the reality that our trash field was going to be increased monumentally as it was with the new trash carrier. We held meetings, discussions, workshops. The Finance Committee did the same thing. We do not like spending your money or mine. We should support the recommendation of the Finance Committee. It is sensible. And I listened to our town lawyer. I heard him essentially say that what this petition does violates Massachusetts law. I think laws are very important. I have spent 55 years of my life dedicated to the rule of law. I ask you to not contradict the Finance Committee and vote in favor of the Finance Committee's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Morose?
Can I call for a roll call vote on this?
So you want to, let's make sure no further discussion. And so that I'll consider that a motion for a roll call vote. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of taking a roll call vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The noes have it. No roll call vote. We now turn to voting on the recommendation of the Finance Committee of no action. Does everybody understand? We're voting on the recommendation of the Finance Committee. All those in favor of the recommendation of the Finance Committee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
The ayes have it.
Oh, Jesus
That
Christ.
concludes our town meeting. Thank you very much. Safe travels home.
Vote it out.